4-shot lead over Greg Norman. Magnificent crowd who come to witness the first real major of the season. Faldo walking a little slower, savouring the moment. A very good start to 90. The end of an extraordinary day for Greg Norman. The 78. His scores were getting progressively worse, but his lead was getting progressively more. And sadly, that vein continued. Second place was good. The way he secured it was absolutely. Now 4 shots in the lead. And he's trying just as hard to hold this one as he would any of the others he's had today. Confidently rolled and in. That's the way champions do it. Well. Better take the ball out. I think that one, I'll put that on the mantelpiece. 67 today, the best round of the day. Did he get him in there? Well, that's what the game's all about. What a remarkable day. Faldo the champion, this magnificent setting here at the Augusta National Course. And I, for one, well, he's now champion 3 times. And the way he played, the way he put it together, the way he thought it through, the help he got from Fanny Sunnison, his caddy, David Ledbetter here, and many of them sort of working and instilling that little bit of confidence. All it is that Faldo feeds on. It has been a truly remarkable day.
Highlights of the 3 days that have gone by. Ray Floyd with his eagle at the 15th opening day. Left-hander Phil Mickelson setting the early pace, coming back in 30 shots. The last of is at 18, opening round of 65. All seems such a long time ago now. And then late on that first afternoon, he was overtaken by the extraordinary Greg Norman. This was his miraculous approach at 14 after his tee shot had hit the tree, with a course record equal round of 63, the greatest start in Masters history. But what a finish today. So Norman was in control at the end of day 1. Second day, the wind around the Augusta National was a little bit more troublesome. But Nick Faldo moving into contention with shots like this one at 13. Faldo with a round of 67. And then at 18 we had more of the wizardry of Phil Mickelson. 5-iron bent around the trees. Mickelson with a second round of 73. But while he was producing shots like that, Greg Norman was moving further away from the field with a round of 69. Norman on the second day moving 4 shots in front. Augusta's great hero. Here's another one, Arnold Palmer, who birdied 18 in his 42nd Masters. Tom Watson, he missed the cut for the first time in 21 years. And the defending champion Ben Crenshaw also failed to make the cut. And the third round, the most difficult conditions of the tournament so far, and the shot that drew most appreciation from the galleries, Nicklaus, eagle, on 15. By contrast, Phil Mickelson wasn't getting any such luck. The putts weren't dropping for him. And Nick Faldo, we saw how meticulous he was in his pursuit of Greg Norman. And at the ninth, he'd closed the gap to 3. But unlike today, Norman's putting form had never looked more solid, and he steadied himself on the back 9. At the end of the day, he led by 6. And today, we've had this amazing story unfold. Day 4, Greg Norman entering the day leading by 6 and emerging the other end beaten by 5. Now, as we watch some of the highlights, if we can call it that, from this amazing day, Dave Marr and Frank Nobilo, let's talk a little bit about Greg and how he's going to recover from this.
Well, first of all, Greg never seems to do anything in half measures. I mean, it wasn't a 72 or 3 he shot to lose. It was, you know, he barely broke 80. How's he going to get over it? Well, he's been very resilient before, but I would say this might be the hardest thing to get over he's ever done.
And they were slipping away right from the start. This was Faldo's tee shot at the 6th, and this is where Faldo moved to just 4 behind. And then a birdie at the 8th, and he closed the gap to 3. And the 9th was really the hole when we first began to realize the enormity of problems that Greg Norman was having. And Frank Nobilo, once you get into a run of form like this, it's very hard to change direction.
Yeah, I think, you know, you've got to look at Greg as an immensely talented player, but obviously what happens in major championships, the tournament is won through lack of mistakes, and that's where someone like Nick Faldo seems to be beating him hands down. So I think, you know, hopefully Greg will come out of this and realise that in order to win the biggest championships in golf, that you know, he has to eliminate the mistakes.
Nick Faldo's putt on the 9th, and nothing wrong with his form all day long. He's played an outstanding round today. But the attention on Greg Norman, his bogey putt on the 9th. And then the gap is just down to 1. 5 shots gone on the front 9. This, Frank, was his on the 10th. This was a shot that Norman seemed to be playing pretty well all day, wasn't it, Dave?
Well, all week long until today. I mean, there, you know, just each time that he had a chance to drop a shot, he did. Now, this is a second putt. I mean, he had a chance for birdie, walks off 11 with a 5, and all of a sudden the game was really on, as you know. I mean, we're spending our time talking about Greg, but, you know, you got to congratulate Nick. He didn't make any mistakes for 2 days. He did the right thing here at 12.
Yes, he had a fine tee shot at 12. Level at this point. And distinctly advantage Faldo as Nobilo stepped up to the tee. As, I'm sorry, Norman stepped up to the tee. Dear old Frank was setting a different kind of pace, another part of the course, but Frank, this was Greg Norman's tee shot at 12.
Yeah, he looks like he's just aimed it straight at the flag. And, well, Freddie Couples got away with it a couple of years ago, but, you know, I think you have to look at players like Nicklaus. I mean, Nicklaus, when he was in contention in majors, tried to eliminate mistakes, and I think Faldo has taken a leaf out of Nicklaus's book. And unfortunately with Greg, he is such a dynamic game, it's very hard to play any other way.
13th fairway, and even Nick was showing, well, more than signs of the tension here. There was a great dilemma in what shot he was going to play. He hit the right one, didn't he, Dave?
Well, he certainly did, because the wood was not the shot there. He put it on the green, over the creek. That's what he needed. Then you got to force Greg, who is going the other way at that time, because he had just laid up.
This was Greg's birdie putt at 13, the kind of putt that could have turned things around for him.
Faldo is not one to let it get away when he gets it, because he just doesn't make mistakes.
And the rest of the story we know, problems continuing for Greg Norman. Nick Faldo wins the Masters. Oh, that was agonising at 15. That was agonising for Greg at 15, and at that moment, he must have known.
What I ended up doing, shooting 67, or as I said, 65, 66, 67, I genuinely feel sorry for Greg. He's a great man. You know, it's in a way it's a credit to the Masters for what you put us through. I'm afraid, you know, it's the most nerve-wracking golf course in the world, isn't it? As simple as that. We have to play the most precise golf under the most extreme pressures, and so you know, I've come out great, but I do feel sorry for Greg.
Well, you made the turn trailing by 2. When did you think?
No, I hadn't had a chance to think about it yet, but obviously I didn't play as well as I didn't putt very well today. Just one of those things that things just didn't go my way. And Nick played a great round. He played very solid, very steady, and you know, it was all my mistakes.
Ben, your win last year will be remembered for a long time. And, will you present Nick with his green jacket?
I'll be very happy to present you with your 3rd jacket, Nick. It was magnificent.
Thank you,
playing.
Ben. Thank you very much. I
Wonderful
putted like you, eh? For a change.
You did everything well. You played
Help me, Ben. It's
fantastic.
difficult. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Nick, I've been here for all 3 of them. And every
Thanks,
time
yeah,
you
thank
come in
you.
here overwhelmed by
Yeah,
emotion,
I know. Thank you.
voice cracking, tears in the eyes.
It's kind of tricky. It gets
Congratulations.
To you, this golf course.
Nick Faldo has won